Hi, Mike here. A client recently sent me an Excel file that somebody else had created, and that somebody else had left the company and the spreadsheet needed amending. But there was an odd looking formula in there. It had a hash sign in it, and they'd never seen a hash sign in a formula before and wanted me to explain what it meant. So I thought, well, if that person doesn't know what a hash sign in a formula means, there's a good chance that others don't either. To understand where the hash comes in, you need to understand dynamic arrays and spilling, two concepts that are part of Excel 365 and Excel 2021. I'll explain these concepts in the video, as well as explaining what the hash sign means. And if you want to follow along, you can download a copy of the demo file from the link in the description below. Traditionally with Excel, a single cell can store text, a numeric value or a formula, and it's formulas that I'm focusing on here. You type a formula or function into a cell and it would return a single value. So here I have a list of employees and their salaries, and everybody gets a $1,000 bonus. In column C, I want to see their total salary, including their bonus. So I type equals B2 plus 1,000 and enter. It's a very basic example, but the result is that I have one cell, one formula, one value. If I want that formula replicated down a column, I'd have to copy it down. Now I have 6 cells, 6 formulas, one in each cell, and 6 values. So the old way of working with formulas still works, even with 365, and I expect it to continue to work for many years to come. But in 2020, Microsoft introduced dynamic arrays and spilling, which was a real game changer when it came to working with formulas. Let me show you how that works. Again, into C2, I'll put a formula. But this time, instead of referencing just B2, I'll reference B2 to B7, and I'll put plus 1,000. The only difference is that where before I had a single cell in the formula, B2, I'm now specifying a range, B2 to B7. I get the same results, but you'll notice a couple of things. Firstly, when the cursor is in any cell in the range C2 to C7, a blue border appears around that range. If I move away from that range, the blue border disappears. Secondly, if you look in the formula bar, the formula in C2 can be edited, but the formulas in C3 through to C7 appear to be greyed out, even though those cells contain values. Welcome to the world of dynamic arrays and spilling. Because the formula in C2 refers to a range rather than a single cell, it generates multiple values, and these values spill into the cells directly below. The blue border indicates the boundary of the array, an array being a range of cells that contain values. So in this example, C2 through to C7 is a dynamic array. So you're probably thinking, well, where does the hash sign come into all of this? This is what this video is supposed to be about. Well, let's say I want to calculate the total salary, including the bonus. Instead of summing C2 to C7, I could go to the cell where I want that formula to be and put equals sum, open brackets, C2 followed by the hash sign. In fact, if I put equals sum open brackets and drag the mouse over C2 to C7, it puts the hash sign in for me. The hash sign refers to the array that starts in C2. Okay, so that was a very simplistic example. You could argue there's no difference. I could just as easily do what I've always done and just summed C2 to C7, but it was to illustrate the use of the hash sign within the formula. I'll now move on and show you a couple of more realistic examples. Here, columns A to C contain details of invoices submitted by business customers of Excellent Ice Cream. If you're new to my channel, Excellent Ice Cream is a fictitious company that makes and sells ice cream that I use for many of my demos. I've been asked by the financial director to calculate the average number of days it took a customer to pay an invoice. One way to do that is to calculate the number of days it took for each invoice to be paid, and then calculate the average of those numbers. To calculate the number of days it took for each invoice to be paid, I'll use the days function. This isn't a new function, it's been in Excel for years. So I'll go up to D2 and put equals days, open brackets, C2, which has got the later date, comma, B2, which has got the earlier date. So what that does is calculates the number of days between those two dates. Enter that in, copy it down, and then go over to G2 and put equals average, open brackets, D2 through to D24. There is another way that I can do that. Back in D2, I'll put equals days, open brackets, but instead of specifying the individual cells, C2 and B2, and copying down, I'll select the range, C2 to C24, then a comma, and then B2 to B24. Close the brackets and enter. By using ranges for the parameters instead of single cells, it creates a dynamic array. The dynamic array is starting in D2, and if I go up to G2 and put equals average, open brackets, and then specify D2, but put the hash sign in, it gives me exactly the same answer. One important thing to be aware of is that tables can't include dynamic arrays. So if I take this range here and I convert it to a proper Excel table, I now get a spill error where the dynamic array starts and another spill error with the formula that references the dynamic array. So let's just undo that. In the third example, I'm going to use the filter function. Back in 2020, Microsoft added 6 new functions to Excel 365, which they called the dynamic array functions. And one of these functions was filter. Since then, they've added more functions, and although they didn't explicitly say, here's some more dynamic array functions, it seems that all new functions added to Excel since 2020 support dynamic array functionality. What Microsoft didn't make a big fuss about was that many of the existing functions also support dynamic array functionality, as I showed you in the previous example. So here, columns A to C contain a list of transactions from Excellent Ice Cream's bank account. I've converted A3 to C25 into a table, which I've called transactions. Columns E and F display the credits, the money coming in, and this has been done using the filter function in E5. The filter part of the formula tells Excel to display only the items from the table called transactions where the type column within that table is CR. The filter function is wrapped inside the CHOOSECOLS function, and this tells Excel to select columns 1 and 2 from the transactions table. Without the CHOOSECOLS function, all 3 columns would be displayed. In F3, I have the total money coming in, and there's a couple of ways to calculate this. One way is to use SUMIFs. Add up the numbers in the amount column where the type equals CR. Another way, which I think is simpler, is to use this formula. It adds up the numbers in the second column of the dynamic array generated by the filter function in E5. So once again, the hash sign can be used within the formula to reference the starting cell of a dynamic array. Well, I hope you found the video useful. If you did, please give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch you in the next video, but until then, have an excellent day.